Okay, so let's check your presentation. So you just need this tab, right? Yeah. Yeah. Alright guys, please have a seat. We're kicking off very soon. And I know that yes, we're speaking English today. We're pretending being not Russian here, okay? Non-Russian speaking. No, 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 you don't. Здравствуйте. Пытаемся презентацию включить. Мы презентуем наш лайнап в начале? Мы презентуем наш лайнап в начале или нет? Да? Нет? Ну, мы скажем, кто у нас сегодня будет выступать, или все будет... Не говори. Okay. Yeah, 10 minutes is enough. Alright, so if everyone is ready, I think we're gonna close the doors. That's okay. Alright, hello everyone, welcome to our nice event, our best event of this Devconnect week. Woohoo! I don't know who from you was like last year in Bangkok. Let's close this door actually. Yes.
Can you put it in your pocket?
Yeah. Maybe just for the people. Yeah, this is better.
Sorry for all the
It's because both are on. I can turn it off, then.
But I think Ты слышишь меня? Alright, okay. I don't know whom of you was like last year in Bangkok. Who was in Bangkok? Okay, this is the same actually event, but this time we added talks. And that's gonna be like amazing lineup, 12 speakers. You all probably know them very well. And I'm not gonna announce them now. It's gonna be a surprise. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And our first speaker will be Marcus, right? Okay, but first of all, I wanna say a huge thanks to our friends from cp0x, Irina. Yeah. It's actually, I think, from cp0x, you're gonna have like 5 people here, right? 4 or 5? Yeah. You feel free to chat with them. Yeah, we brought this for you together with them. Yeah, let's give a round of applause to them. Thank you.
Our opening speaker is here to show us how smarter routing and better markets can transform on-chain trading. Welcome to the stage, Marcus from Propeller Heads.
Oh wow. Yeah, thanks so much. Sick location. I feel like I'm back in Berlin. I'm going to talk about how to win as a DEX. We, as Propeller Heads, are building infrastructure for market makers, searchers, routers to trade on any DEX. New and quite exciting that are currently changing drastically how DEXs compete. That is different from the model that we usually think about for flow. But it's actually not the solvers who are competing, in my opinion. It's the DEXs who are competing with each other. The solvers are just finding the optimal route. But the optimal route is kind of implicit in the quotes that the DEXs already probably find out that this pool gives a better price as long as they integrate them. And if you look at it from this angle, then every single DEX pool, or the LPs who are LPing into this DEX pool, they're all competing with each other, and they're all providing different kinds of trading curves depending on which DEX pool they provide into. And if you look at it from this perspective, it's actually a first price auction. The DEXs, they give quotes to the solvers, and whoever gives the best quote will have to settle with the user at exactly that quote. There's nothing other than there might be some slippage. And if you look at it from that, then the game for a DEX is actually to, well, if you're bidding for something, you need to know what it's worth. So maybe you want to trade E for USDC, so the DEX pool needs to figure out what is actually the better they do is not beneficial for the DEX, because if the bid is public, then other DEXs can copy your bid, they can improve the bid on you, market makers can watch what the DEX is quoting, quote slightly higher. It's not good for the DEX. Bidding smart. Like if another DEX is bidding you 4,001 and they would win the trade, and another $9 they can keep as a profit, which DEXs don't do at the moment, but they are doing now, and I'm going to talk about that. So let's look at these four how is this actually happening and what's changing in the DEX market. One thing that's happening is that DEXs are co-locating with solvers to become dynamic bidders. So if you look at what a solver does, is they look at all the DEX prices for a given trade. So they know what all the DEXs are quoting. The DEXs self-guide me and say, well, if I'm actually bidding too low, then please increase my bid by up to half of the pool fee and give me the trade that would have gone to curve otherwise. And this also works in the other direction. The pool could say, well, if my 0.3% are too high, and actually I would win the trade with 0.5% fee as well, then it can say, well, lower your bid, which for DEXs means increasing the fee, and I make more profit. And 1inch Agua, which the DEX pools, and then positions your own funds just slightly ahead. This is precise. If you're not, then you probably have never heard of this, but CowSwap has an internal vault, and solvers are allowed to swap through this internal vault with the rate that they find in the open market price from Uniswap and internalizing them into CowSwap. And this has been happening for a while. And barter and barter superposition and Aqua are basically a generalized version of exaction or solver LP co-location, and it's becoming increasingly important. Another form of co-location is prop AMMs. You've probably heard about them, like they're very popular on Solana. And prop AMMs do two things that we just mentioned as optimal strategies. They make their code entirely private, and so nobody else can swap on them, only the partners that they select. So prop AMM's codes is not publicly verified, the SDKs are not public, but they're giving their SDK to Jupiter. So Jupiter is the only one that can trade on them, and so they know and they can control that arbitrageurs maybe can't trade on them, only Jupiter and their retail traders. And this way they also keep their bids private from any other prop AMM, any other market maker, any other DEX, because only Jupiter would be surprised if prop AMMs would also start to bribe Jupiter to help them win trades. And this is the final example. I think we're almost out of time. Two paths. You are, like a user is swapping grab Bitcoin to ETH, but it could be going through USDS, the maker's guy. USDT in the market will of course increase the profits for Tether, and vice versa. So maybe USDT is giving a slightly better rate, but the USDS LPs makes $4,000. It would be rational to bid a subsidy pool that can dynamically bribe solvers to win trades versus other competing stablecoins, for example. And this has happened already in some solver deals with protocol teams, LP teams, and DEX teams will co-locate and collaborate with solvers. Yeah. Yeah.
If we know that we will get part of the
Very makers, if you would sudden is still very much present.
Okay, can we pay through aggregators?
Very much present.
Okay, can we pay through aggregators to choose?
For aggregate are the ones that are facilitating the auction, and those are the ones you would want on your side. The auction, and those are the ones you would want on your side to inject liquidity. To inject liquidity into trades that you want to win.
Okay, in this case, can we
Some trader will by definition, and this has CowSwap solvers and only CowSwap solvers, and the markout, and so for example, make sense?
Yeah, like I'll just like freestyle like a year or so, right? You need Python as much, because if you have a multi-sig that can upgrade something, or change the rules of the game underneath protocols, it's kind of and like decided to be tyrannical. It's not the fault of like some institution that decided that in their accounting they know that this wallet holds like $10, right? One of them is USDC, right? I kind of self-stopped, like my funds can be locked in my account. So is it like still self-covered? Some of them are like not and in legal systems that they fall under dollars on legal support. Just for on-chain element systems. Not as easy, but like that have enough UX. Just for on-chain element systems. Not as easy, but like that have enough systems. Not as easy, but like that have enough UX, right? And bad actors, but most of them are doing that because it's really scary and really hard to implement. So we try to, because it's really scary and really hard to implement. So we try to go from the UX side, How do we make it as easy, so easy so that people don't, how do we make it as easy, so easy so that people don't consider to launch, like goes for Tradify, consider to launch, like goes for Tradify, we want to like have any control over it.
Okay, let's start. So I'm Nick, I'm the founder of Mellow, and we're building the system for on-chain asset management. So basically right now, crypto compared to TradFi is really, really small, but it's getting bigger. And I think that many people were saying for many years that crypto will kill TradFi, but I think that it's not the case. It's the case where we're becoming the rails for new financial stack. And the main reason for that is basically operational efficiency, 24-hour, 7 days a week on-chain settlement, atomic settlement, composability, and all the features that we're bringing to TradFi as an ecosystem. And the current TradFi stack, it's pretty outdated, and it's not bad, but it's outdated because it was built like 30, 40 years ago or even more. And before nowadays, we had lots of things built, but they were not production ready for TradFi. Right now, it's something that's already here. It's production ready, and it can be fully used by different institutions, banks, any ecosystems in TradFi, fintechs. So we have the base layer where we have EVM rollups, block explorers, RPCs, all the base layers of the infrastructure, and we have the products that can be combined in different financial products in TradFi. So it's insurance mechanisms, it's RWAs, AMMs, all the pieces that can be combined in different financial products. And right now, fintech is becoming crypto, and crypto is becoming fintech. So Robinhood is launching rollups, Stripe is building their own L1, Kraken is going to in the opposite direction, starts working in TradFi, Revolut, Coinbase. Everyone is building lots of stuff specifically on chain. And the key topic for any financial product, it's risk management and it's risk models. And the key component for the end user is the product that combines some sort of yields and some sort of risk. And right now, we have different risk profiles inside the ecosystem. We're combining different protocols, different pools in financial products. Same thing starts happening with TradFi, because structured products on-chain, it's same thing as structured products off-chain and in traditional finance. And one of the key goals here is to simplify things for the end users, because complexity on-chain, it's even higher than complexity in TradFi. And if we speak, let's say, about Revolut and them building some products for the end users and using their distribution channels, they cannot bring some, let's say, AMM for their user in their application. They should bring some very simplistic product where it could be one-click deposit, and then user is basically buying some financial product. So right now we have lots of curators in the ecosystem who are targeting specifically on-chain users, and they're doing a great job in terms of risk management, in terms of building the products. But tomorrow it will be curators that we see on traditional market. Some of them, they will be building and managing risks themselves. Some of them, they will work with existing curators from our space, but they will be the distribution channels in this case. And it also makes much more sense to build not the product that will be competing with those systems. It makes sense to build products with curated model in this case, because you can bring your stack to build basically any financial product on-chain that can be used by any TradFi teams. This is what we are building. It's the system for building structured products on-chain. And it's the Vault infrastructure, which can combine lots of different protocols. It's the system that can deploy capital into any protocols on-chain. It can also work with off-chain systems. It can work with centralized exchanges through MPCs. And it's the product that can be used both fully on-chain, or it can be used by any TradFi institutions that can work with their on-chain stacks to provide structured products for their users and use their distribution channels. We work with different asset managers, hedge funds, payments providers, fintechs, node operators as well. We work a lot with LIDA, and we're working with LIDA v3 setups for node operators. And with node operators, it's also probably a bit separate topic, because the major ones, they're also becoming kind of financial marketplaces. And they're starting to bring on the table for the users not just the validation, but also they start building some strategies with different varieties of assets. It can be anything with the stable coins, BTC, and lots of products outside of validation. This is also some of our partners. It's LIDA, Symbiotic, Obol, SSV, Athena, Flow Traders, and we're starting also working with some TradFi teams. I would also highlight, and it's not an announcement, but it's some things that we're going to build next year. We didn't share this before anywhere. So there are some key components that we need to build outside of just pure tech stack at Melo, because we already have this Vault system. We got live a couple of weeks ago with the new asset management stack. But after things that were happening recently on the market, like on 10th November, it becomes much more clear that we need much more transparency for the users and for the LPs. That's why right now we're also building the risk management system that should bring more transparency for the users. That's also something that will bring more tooling for asset managers to work with the risks, to monitor all the risks, and also to automate lots of things on chain for their risk models. And another part, it's compliance. And on the compliance side, it's also something that you really need to do as a builder right now if you're going to work with any institutions, because you have to get SOC 2 compliance certification. You have to do lots of things around legal wrapping, and that's also one of the key things that we're going to do during next year. Right now also we will have probably 30 to 40 launches with different vaults for different ecosystems and asset issuers for the next few months. And also if you're working on some assets, yield-bearing stables, if it's something on top of Ethereum, or if it's some new ecosystems, we're happy to support with Vault infrastructure. That's what we are doing right now. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. No questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. The next speaker is coming, and you better not move. You're gonna like it. Where's he? Okay, we're waiting for him. Hello. Hello, Mr. Founder of 1inch Network.
Hey, can you hear me?
No, you're gonna have another one.
Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm dressed like liquidity boss today. We're gonna talk about liquidity protocols, yeah? So you know a little bit about it, yeah? So yeah, because I was previously talking to developers, and some of them were like experienced liquidity providers a little bit. So I would assume you are liquidity providers, yeah? Or you're also developers? Who's
liquidity provider.
yeah, liquidity providers. Okay, okay. Yeah, and who are protocol engineers here? Okay, that's good. So you combine this like understanding and earnings, yeah? Okay. Okay, I'm happy to be here with my favorite community of liquidity providers. Finally. So I cooked some presentation where I explain a new concept of liquidity provisioning. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay. So yeah, I would start with the question, what is capital efficiency? So I read some papers. Actually, there are more than 50 research papers analyzing capital efficiency of different liquidity provision solutions for market makers. So yeah, actually a lot of them define it differently. Some of them state that capital efficiency is ability to attract volumes per capital. Some of them state it's ability to earn fees per capital. Sometimes it's yield per capital. Sometimes they operate capital liquidity wording. So yeah, it's pretty wild and pretty different. There are like more popular papers, less popular papers. So reading some of them, I understood that I do not understand what is capital efficiency. So yeah, it's a complete mess for me. So I tried to understand what I can spot as inefficiency on this market and how we can to address it. So the very first thing we did, we analyzed how much of liquidity is not being moved. It's being idle in the pools. It's just sitting there. Is it doing something? So for the 90% of the days in this year, Uniswap V2 had 95% of liquidity sitting idle and is not participating in swaps. So yeah, in the rest, like in a few days per year, it's probably participating more. So we have a cool dashboard where you can see this in detail per percentiles, like super detailed. And all those SQL queries are there, yeah. So what this liquidity is actually doing there? Why it's still there? It's definitely contributing to a price curve. So prices are being computed based on those amounts. But it's not being utilized properly. This means that it is not actually earning, because your liquidity is only earning when it's working. And yeah, that's something what I would call one of the inefficiencies of existing approach. If we would take a look, we can see something, okay? That current approach is that liquidity providers are providing liquidity into different pools. And if you would try to provide liquidity to tens of different assets, you would end up by fragmenting your liquidity. Your most liquid assets, like stable tokens, wrapped Ether, wrapped Bitcoin, you would end up splitting them, fragmenting them among different opportunities. And most of them are not very volatile. And yeah, most of your liquidity will stuck there, fragmented, and being underutilized. This is also one of the at any moment, yeah? It's permissionless. You can withdraw it from AMM, yeah. But being locked means that it's limited in its functionality. It means that you can't vote with your governance tokens. You can't participate in V-tokenomics. You can't go to money market with these assets or do something interesting with it. So these three inefficiencies, idleness, fragmentation, and locked capital, that's what we try to address with our new approach. We came up to a better vision, which is not in focus now, where you could, not clearly, but you could see that capital is on liquidity provider wallet. It's green, it was open lock, you see, like dollars and open lock. So capital is the LP wallet, and AMMs, they are getting access to this liquidity through this Aqua on demand. Aqua is a shared liquidity layer protocol. Layer means that this is a layer protocol between other protocols and liquidity provider. I would explain how it works on the next slide, but in terms of architecture, it actually providing shared access to the same capital for different AMMs or PMMs. That could be any kind of logic here. And it also unlocks your asset. This means that while they are on your wallet, you could vote in DAO or do any other things. Yeah, let's explore. Yeah. So actually, being liquidity provider, you could use Aqua as following. You have some assets on your wallet. There is underlying rectangle here. Okay. And via Aqua, you could define virtual balances dedicated per strategy. And when taker comes to this AMM to trade, to make a swap, this AMM just checks virtual balances according to the strategy hash, and then compute swap amounts, and then use pull and push methods of Aqua to get access to maker's liquidity. When it's pulling liquidity, balances are being decreased. When it's pushing balances, balances are being incremented. This means that AMM can get full access to your liquidity, and it will try to earn you something with atomic pull and push. Aqua is not actually limiting it to being atomic, but yeah, Aqua can't guarantee those strategies would earn you something, because yeah, there is impermanent loss and other things. So yeah, AMMs are same dangerous as previously, but now they can get access to shared capital. And this means that you could increase your capital efficiency in different aspects. Okay, so now, when your capital is on your wallet, like the two main aspects of our approach is that your liquidity can be shared and reutilized among different strategies. And second point, that it's being unlocked. And actually, being unlocked means a lot. You could vote in DAO, participate in some tokenomics. You could also leverage your liquidity with money market. I have next slide about this. You could also borrow liquidity on demand from money market when swap is happening. This is possible with advanced AMMs, which could provide you hooks or something like this. So yeah, that's the scheme how you could turn your 10K of bucks into 30K of collateral and 20K of debt. So yeah, 30K minus 20K is still 10K. So economically, this makes sense. I think you all understand how you could spin up this position. There are like two different ways. You could deposit, borrow, put what you borrowed into collateral, borrow more, put again into collateral, borrow more. You could spin up your position. Or you could use flash loans to make it in a more like efficient way. Some money markets would support you with this, some are not. You could use flash loan from third-party provider or something like that. But you could end up to this. Economically, it makes sense. You still have 30K minus 20K. But you just can't withdraw all your collateral because this is like an 8 tokens of an hour or something like that. So you could provide these three assets into three different pairs of AMM. And this would lead you to having 60K of liquidity. But you remember, you came with 10K. You got 3x leverage of liquidity with money market on your own, with your own wallet. You came to Aave and did it on your own. And then you came to Aqua and got 2x more by just reutilizing the same capital, earn yield from all those strategies, for all those 60K capital. Yeah, if one of your balances will be drained, yeah, you can probably do like different things. You can stop those strategies and start them again later if you wish. Or if you would get some liquidity back on your wallet, you could face immediate impermanent loss because someone would arbitrage you. Yeah, that's not good, but that's still manageable since it's impermanent. So yeah, but the only tricky thing here is that you could not probably swap 10K. If Aqua would try to pull 10K, you will be under collateralized. So transfer of collateralized token would not let you do this. Money market would revert. So yeah, AMM needs some basic support for this case. AMMs should support push and then pull. So they would just increase your collateral first and then decrease it. So it makes sense. But Aqua itself supports this feature with 0 lines of code. So we only need to support it on AMM level. What is my next slide? I'm not sure. Okay. Oh, it's too fast. Okay. So yeah, what is capital efficiency? I think we're trying to redefine it. We think that capital efficiency is no more metric of a protocol. It's metric of efforts. It's metric of risk appetite. So you could achieve unlimited capital efficiency. Not infinite, but unlimited, because our protocol is not limiting you, it's empowering you. So there was a concept of toxic flow. I wanted to pay attention to this topic also. Yeah, because some people call it toxic flow and non-toxic flow. Toxic flow is something like arbitrage volumes. I think this is a misconception, and volumes should be separated on two different things. Actually, I call it fair volumes and unfair volumes, where fair volumes are volumes which earned by your protocol, by your position, fairly. This means they are being earned by their prices they are offering via their strategy. And you get fair share of volumes when someone is trying to distribute volumes fairly to achieve the best taker price, like aggregators. All volumes from aggregators, when they work correctly, they are fairly distributed. If they are unfair, they provide not the best rate. So, and for sure, there are unfair volumes. Unfair volumes is when someone is using unfair competitive advantage. It's like sending volumes from your website to your protocol. We saw this from Uniswap a lot. Like 5 years ago, we saw that their volumes to their protocol were like 4x unfair comparing to the fair volumes. Now it's being more fair because they also launched Uniswap X and resolvers, solvers, all those infrastructure things which are helping takers to get better rate. It's making volumes more fair. And I think that Aqua would give you leverage to get earnings even from arbitrage volume. Let's just imagine, you have AMM, you provide some liquidity, price went somewhere, but you got only arbitrage volume. Okay, you have some profits from fees and you have some impermanent loss. And then price got back. Okay, you have more earnings and you have 0 impermanent loss. Okay, you got some earnings from arbitrage volumes. So how you can call it non-profitable? It is profitable. Why you earn? Because you made a job. You was market maker. You was making this market. You was working within some spread. So I think it much more sense is to think about your liquidity position as a spread machine. Your spread machine is moving with the market, with the price, and it's capturing value. It could be flat fee. It could be dynamic fee, depending on how volatile is the market. It could be Dutch auctions selling arbitrage opportunity. I will tell about this later. So, yeah, I think no flow is toxic anymore. So I added really cool phrases here, yeah? Okay. So, yeah, I told almost everything regarding Aqua itself, and the next thing is our approach to build the best AMM out there. But yeah, for sure we can't be the best AMM which would get everything. We expect competition. We expect tens, hundreds of different AMMs to be built on top of Aqua, and now they can compete without TVL. They can compete with just their logic, their math, their approach. So yeah, we tried to build our own, like a fair play. We did a cool architecture decisions to split our like share liquidity layer for everyone and our own AMM trying to make the best architecture. So what is swap VM? Swap VM is basically swap virtual machine. But I was asked like multiple times in the past days, what the heck is virtual machine? Is it competition to EVM or Solana VM, like is it your own blockchain or something? No, it's just an architecture. This architecture, being virtual machine, means that it should operate something what can be called instructions. This is some kind of programs which can be composed to achieve something more than, than one program. So it's like program logic composable out of components, models. Okay. Okay. So the first slide actually explains how it works. It's kinda self-explanatory, I would say. If we would start from bottom, we would see that one of the instructions is implementing the swap formula. It could be a constant product formula or any other formula you would prefer. Okay, next instruction is flat fee. So you could configure this fee, or you could use different instruction called dynamic fee or like progressive fee, or any other instruction you could develop on your own. There are also instructions to concentrate within some range. If you want to achieve concentrated constant product, okay, just place those instructions one by one and you will have this program which is defining logic of how your position, your liquidity should actually work. And there is a decay spread. Now it's disabled, just for example. But what is decay spread? How many people ever heard about Muniswap? Oh, few. Okay. Okay, the Muniswap. Oh, that's better. Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, oh, okay. So the Muniswap was the thing which we invented like back in 2020 or 2021. I don't really remember. This was the thing that it was like constant product thing, but a little bit different. When someone performs a swap in the back direction became immediately super profitable for arbitrage traders. And we decided that, oh, that's bad. We see how many arbitrage traders earn on this. We counted this. 5 years ago, we counted this for top pools on Uniswap, and we saw that arbitrage traders profits from background the same amount of value which is being earned by liquidity providers. And we said, oh, we can try to fix that. And that's what we tried to do. We actually made it like that. So whenever swap happens, the price in the back direction is not being changed immediately. It's being the same. Meanwhile, it starts shifting gradually to the new place, and arbitrage could start happening earlier. Oh, I actually have a slide about this. Okay. Okay, so yeah. How is this possible to make those instructions work independently from each other and make it like a composable logic? Am I tricking you or not? Is it like a huge mess of code with different ifs and flags? No. We came up to a data model, which is like the core of this architecture. But it's simple as that. It's pair of balances and pair of amounts, where in and out means direction for maker. In means maker would receive it, out means maker would spend it. So balances are like real balances from Aqua. Okay, what are amounts? One of the amounts is being provided by taker. If taker is providing amount in, our instructions have to compute amount out. This is what usually called exact in swap. If taker provided amount out, our instructions have to compute amount in. Okay, that's exact out swap. The thing is that our instructions is like one piece of code each, and it's the same code for quoting, for swapping, for exact in and exact out. For simplification, for sure, because we don't want to write this code 4 times. So I brought you 3 examples of instructions. The very first one and very obvious would be constant product. I think, yeah, you should all know how it works, yeah? Raise your hand if you know how constant product formula working. Okay, okay, but I will explain anyway. While I'm here, you have to listen me. Nadia said this, so yeah. So the thing is that there were old balances, balance in and balance out. You could not clearly, but can see it here. And there will be new balances. Balance in plus amount in and balance out minus amount out. So the formula is simple as that multiplication of product of balances before swap should be equal to the product of the balances after swap. And we should can just express amount in and amount out of this expression. And yeah, for sure, ceiling is important. Be careful with rounding, or you would fail as balancer probably. So whenever you compute amounts which would be given to a maker, you would be rather ceiling than flooring. And on the opposite side, when you compute amounts being given out from maker, you would better floor than seal. So yeah, this is pretty simple stuff, yeah? Everyone knows this. There are no fees here, and it makes no sense to have fees here. Fees are a separate instruction. I don't have it in my slides. It's too complicated, guys. Actually, yeah, I'm not kidding. We spent like several days to make it work because it was much more complicated than we originally thought. Because, yeah, all those instructions, they have to like maintain invariance. All those instructions should have, for example, symmetry according to exact in and exact out. You don't want your instruction to give you different exchange rate. So yeah, it's actually a little bit complicated, but it's easy to understand if you would read it with comments. But yeah, I would start with something easier, yeah, like a concentrated liquidity, yeah, for sure. It should be easier than flat fees, yeah? And it is. To concentrate liquidity, the only thing instructions should do is to increase balances by some deltas, which could be computed off-chain. So in smart contract, we have to do only this, just increase balances. That's awesome. But there is one trick here. Your real balances would walk here on this invariant. But why? Because your increased balances work on a real invariant, yeah? Like constant product for real. You can see, but it's like also line here, yeah. And here is like 0, 0 here and 0 here. But trick here is that if you would start collecting fees, you would start. What would happen to this thing? It will actually grow in range. How many of you would be happy to concentrate liquidity in range and see it's growing with fees? At least few of you would be happy with that. Yeah? Or you want it strictly maintained range? You want strict? Yeah? Okay, but maybe few of you would be happy because this approach is cheaper in terms of gas. Yeah, for real. It's like 10K cheaper, yeah. So yeah, if you want to maintain range, okay, we have 2 instructions for this. This instruction is being called XYC concentrate grow price range. But we developed another one, not on the slides, but I will explain. We call it XYC concentrate grow liquidity. What's doing? Right after the swap, it's checking how invariant increased, multiplication of balances, of new balances, divided by multiplication of old balances. That's actually invariant increase. So we should just readjust deltas with this invariant increase. And you would get instruction which would let you to grow your liquidity with fees, to after compound your earnings and maintaining the price range. Also pretty easy to understand, comparing to flat fees. And yeah, the Mooney swap thing actually, that's the most complicated stuff now probably. So yeah, I will explain what this visualization means. So we start from here, from this point. And some swap happens to the beginning of the blue line. And then swap in the back direction is not starting from blue. It is starting from here. And within every second, our virtual balances are approaching real balances directly. This is straight line. And at some point, arbitrage is happening. Arbitrage is happening with these virtual balances. And every swap on this chart looks like a walk by invariant. It's invariant, it's not straight line. And this swap is being applied to real balances. And then virtual balances again start to go to real balances. I'll wait a little bit. Yeah, like this. And at some point, arbitrage happens again. And swap happens. And again. And at some point, we end up here with real and virtual balances together. So why we did all this pine tree? Actually, moving balances from here to here is increasing your balances. That's how liquidity providers are actually capturing the value. If you have no fees, you will walk by the same line, by the same invariant. So in this scheme, we see that it's like a Dutch auction, which is selling arbitrage opportunity to competing arbitrage traders. And that's how we saw in the past, when we were running Muniswap, we saw that we dropped arbitrage trader profits 10 times. And this led us to increase liquidity providers' profits 2 times, almost 2 times. And the thing is that we were happy with that result 5 years ago. But the thing is that Uniswap got 4 times more unfair volumes. This means that their liquidity providers were still earning 2 times more. And that's why we also deceased the project. And one of the reasons was that Uniswap released version 3 with concentrated liquidity. And we said, okay, we can still try to make our approach work with concentrated liquidity. But yeah, this is too complicated. This would take probably 1 year to develop this on top of Uniswap code, which is not even open source. We have to write our own. This is a huge thing to develop, 1,000 lines of code. And yeah, we decided to discontinue our liquidity protocol. But nowadays, we are able to implement this logic as a separate instruction, which is composable with almost any other MM instruction. This means that we could achieve concentrated liquidity Muniswap idea with just few lines of code in each instruction by just composing these instructions to each other. So yeah, why it's so simple? Because it's a matter of architecture. Architecture decision to find this data model which suits those composable computation is the whole invention, I would say. So yeah, if you would decide to build your own AMM, your liquidity providers, but you have to understand this thing. Building own AMM starts with an idea that you could provide some cool swap logic. You have a great formula. Yeah, true. But you still have to develop a lot of other supporting stuff. Deposits, withdrawals, balances accounting of like maintaining shares of liquidity providers, swap settlement itself handled correctly. And yeah, for sure, you have code level composability. This means that you can write code, read code, copy code. Yeah, you can do this. But this is like really something huge. And this is like I call it red word, requires. It's requirement. It's bad connotation, you know. And with the swap VM, it actually empowers you. You see green word, yeah? So you can just develop swap logic within instruction. And if you will just came up how it can be expressed within this data model as instruction, you can avoid writing all this code. You will have instruction level composability. You will be able to compose your unique logic with existing logic which we already developed. We spent some time and developed like almost 30 different instructions. Some of them are useless for debug or like control instructions like check if taker have some NFT if they're eligible if you want to make this system like more closed resolver based. This depends on like restrictions based on business logic. But we also have pretty cool instructions dedicated to single directional swaps, like limit order, okay, Dutch auction, okay, TWAP, DCA. For example, if you would consider what is Dutch auction, we actually came up to a vision that within this data model, it makes sense to have two separate Dutch auctions. You would say, why? Dutch auction is one thing, its price should drop. It should get worse for maker and get better for taker, and takers compete and they come and they swap and that's it, yeah? No, it's not like that. There are two different Dutch auctions. There is Dutch auction where you're trying to sell something, specific amount of something you are selling, and the amount you are getting is being dropped. Okay. But there is another way. When you're trying to buy something with Dutch auction, the amount you're buying is fixed, but the amount you're spending is growing. So that's why we have two different instructions. Imagine someone implementing this thing for NFT marketplace. That's obvious that it's different use cases when you buy NFT or sell NFT. It could be both Dutch auctions, but it couldn't be the same code. It should be like different business logic actually behind this. So yeah. It's already finished. So yeah, I'm happy to answer your questions, guys.
So how does the protocol guarantee that the push and pull amounts they are within reasonable
Yeah.
bounds? It's like if there is some shady AMM who tries to pull too few and push too much.
Yeah.
So how do you secure?
The thing is that pull and push methods, they're affecting those virtual balances. And they're actually making assets move through from and to maker wallet. So originally you dedicate some balances to some specific strategy, and this strategy is allowed to pull all those balances. It can push it back, but Aqua can't guarantee that. So if you would just allocate some balances to some malicious AMM, it could still allow it balances, but Aqua here is actually helping you to restrict those amounts. So yeah, you are controlling the amounts dedicated to each strategy.
Is there any plans for separate token for Aqua?
No, not really. We have more plans to develop much greater things in DeFi next year. I mean, you see, I'm like thrilled about this thing, for real, yeah? This is a cool thing, yeah? But I have so much more cool things inside of me which I can't disclose to you right now. I just can only imagine your faces when I will present it to you next year.
What is the major product of Manage?
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine, we started with DEX aggregator. So we tried to solve the fragmentation problem for taker, yeah? And now we came from the other side and saw that makers also have fragmentation issue, and we are like, oh, we're gonna solve it. Oh, nice. It will be so defragmented now. But could you imagine fragmentation for takers after this? When each position would be handled separately. Fragmentation will be like really insane. But yeah, we are ready for this. As aggregator, we will aggregate. For now, we aggregate like 50,000 of smart contracts on Ethereum mainnet. But we are ready to aggregate 1 million of smart contracts. Not everyone is ready. It's a matter of architecture. But yeah, we are ready. Almost.
Sorry, I have a question.
Yes.
So it was interesting for me when you said that you can earn money with your earn rewards with your leverage position, and also you earning when you apply for multiple strategies. So what's interesting for me, like how you, it sounds like you move, you sacrifice DEXs, for instance, reliability to cover
Yeah, I would say I did not say that you're like faking those liquidity. It's not being faked. I said that in general, utility is being underutilized. Your liquidity in AMMs is participating fully in defining the price according to your balance, but it's being utilized really poorly. And if you would use the same amount being utilized poorly in multiple places, you could achieve better utilization. You could achieve 100% utilization by placing your liquidity in like 5, 10 different shared positions, different combinations of positions. This would mean that your liquidity would actually work for you. What you are talking about is that some users could probably try fooling the takers. The taker can do like an infinite swaps. Yeah, that's a matter of all this infrastructure to handle it properly. For example, we in DEX aggregation, we understand the real balances of the users and how much they are offering virtually, and we take this into account. This thing is very similar to what we have with limit orders nowadays. You can see, like, you could put any amounts of limit orders, but your balances are not actually covering this. And this is not a problem, and this will not be a problem for Aqua. Yes?
So another question. If I'm an AMM developer, does this mean that I need to create my own UI, or is it like locked into the one-inch distribution? So your basically interface asks for at least the AMMs about the best rates.
Yeah, good question. For now, I'm talking only about architectures and protocols. So I'm talking about possibility for developers to build their own AMM as a protocol which could interact with LP wallets through Aqua, permissionless LPs, permissionless AMMs, permissionless DeFi. But yeah, you're asking about front ends. So yeah, those AMMs could be separate projects. They could offer their own front ends. Maybe we would end up having like a marketplace of widgets for those strategies in 1-inch. Maybe we would do this, but this would also depend on our requirements for audits, for other things, because if someone would bring us AMM with like 5,000 lines of code and said, oh, please list it on your website, oh, I'm not sure. How much audits you have, like 2 per 5,000 lines of code? Wow, that's pretty risky, I would say. Number of audits only makes sense with the number of lines of the code, because for now in Aqua we have 100 lines of code in Solidity, and yeah, we are going to make 10 audits, probably more, and this will be the most audited smart contract per line. Yeah. So yeah, that's a difficult question. Maybe we would do something like that, maybe not. I mean, we're just providing the tool which could be much more convenient to compete nowadays. Because TVL competition is actually like killing all competition. It's super hard. Getting shared access to liquidity is much more easier. More questions, guys? Yeah?
Would I need, are there hooks? Are there
Oh yeah.
ways to interact with other contracts? And do you expect that flashing will be different strategies in terms of Aqua balances?
Yeah, we have hooks in Swap VM. I will open something like a slide related to Swap VM, but it does not have anything about hooks here. Yeah, for Maker, we have 4 hooks. It's pre-transfer in, post-transfer in, pre-transfer out, post-transfer out. It's also callbacks for the taker. Taker could opt in for pre-transfer in callback, pre-transfer out callback. Yeah, and users could also receive those hooks calls not on their address but on any other smart contract. So we could have some smart contracts implementing sublogic, users could approve to them, and which would serve specific needs of the users. For example, users will be able to set up position with the A tokens of Aave, and they will be able to set up hooks to some smart contract, help them to unwrap before funds are leaving their wallet and wrap when funds will come to their wallet. But we would not advise people to do it like that, because we can do this simple thing as wrapping and unwrapping on aggregator level. Because when we will get 8 tokens from tens or hundreds of positions, we would rather unwrap and wrap them as a one batch, not individually. But yeah, you are free to develop any custom logic. For sure, it will be like taker's responsibility and infrastructure responsibility of DEXs, of solvers to understand how to deal with it, is it working on that or not. But one of the cool things that we have simulator in Aqua. Simulator is a simple function with like few lines of code. You could ask Aqua to delegate call to arbitrary smart contract to perform any logic you want. Want to transfer assets from any LP to check it out if it's working or not? Yeah, do it. But at the end of this arbitrary delegate call, Aqua would revert with all the information collected from this arbitrary delegate call. So you could like really debug what's going to happen, because if someone is providing liquidity, it actually does not mean it's not locked. Maybe their USDT are like blacklisted. You don't know. You can try it out with a simulator. Yes?
What are the biggest barriers to adoption of your technology?
Yeah, as one smart guy said to me on my previous interviews to cp0x, that there are two things. Protocol thing, technology one, and the product thing for users, for liquidity providers. And I answered actually that there are three things. And one of the missed things here is economical thing. If something makes economical sense, it will be adopted. I see huge economical benefit for liquidity providers. They could get the efficiency of professional market makers within self-custody strategies being run by AMMs. Because that's actually what professional market makers do to increase their capital efficiency. But yeah, you can give them your money, so they would probably earn for you. But this is a custody solution. You would not like that. You are here because you want your money to work for you in self-custody manner. So yeah, we are bringing power of private market makers efficiency to LP, AMM enjoyers like you.
Huh? We love you so much. We want you to speak like 2 hours in a row. Happy to, but we have, I think, like 7 more speakers.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. Well, will you be around like for 10 minutes?
Yeah, I will be
so,
there.
well, I don't want people to leave
No?
the space just because of you. No?
10 minutes.
10
yeah,
minutes. Yeah.
I mean, like, can I just like ask all of the questions somewhere there?
Yeah, I can answer later, and yeah, I still have 10 minutes, but yeah, I will be available online. I know how to use internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. We are super excited to introduce our next speaker. We are super excited to introduce our next speaker.
Rasul? No?
Okay.
Rasul,
Please don't keep us waiting and be happy, be super welcome on stage, Rasul Ibrahimov from Ethereum Foundation.
Hello everyone, my name is Rasul. I work in PAC team of Ethereum Foundation, and today I want to talk about social recovery. So what is social recovery? Social recovery is a mechanism to restore control over an account when the original signing key is no longer usable by executing a predefined recovery procedure that involves other actors. So the target here is non-custodial accounts like EOA or smart accounts, and it's like usually applicable when the original key is lost or destroyed. And recovery relies on protocol-defined rules, not on a support desk or a single master key. So by itself, social recovery should be non-custodial as well. So there are two kinds of social recovery. First one is off-chain recovery, and another one is like on-chain recovery. So off-chain recovery is mostly when the off-chain recovery is when recovery process happens fully off-chain. So a good example of this is, let's say you have your private key and you want to split it across into multiple parts and give these shares to your friends. And then when your friends present their share, you can set also like n and m threshold parameters. And when n of your friends present their share, the private key will be restored. And on-chain recovery is basically fully on-chain mechanism. It's contract-based, and it also involves multiple actors. We call them guardians. And here guardians sign their transaction with their sign-in mechanism or any other auth method, and then they can also jointly authorize a new key for your account. So what we are trying to build in our team is social recovery SDK so that wallets can integrate social recovery features. So right now, as you know, like most of the wallets, they don't support social recovery features, or at least they don't support trustless, like self-custodial social recovery features. That's why we are trying to build this SDK. So before going further, I want to tell you that it's not public yet. It will be public soon, but generally I think it's good to share the details of our work, our progress, our challenges. So first I want to share our design goals. So the design goals is basically that no single party can unilaterally take over accounts. Then also, of course, n of m approvals from multiple actors, and of course time locks. Different authentication mechanisms. We can call them classes as well for guardians. With for security guarantees is recommended to have like one of each class policy. No dependency on centralized services. And also guardian privacy, so that the guardian set shouldn't be trivially exposed on chain. And also another important point here, another important goal is to have really good UX, so that recover my wallet procedure, that non-developers can complete recover my wallet procedure similar to forgot my password in Web 2. So what is social recovery SDK? Basically, we just basically interfaces and contracts for guardians. We have auth adapters. It's basically adapters on chain, like smart contracts that verify different auth methods. And something to manage recovery policies. We call it Recovery Manager. And client SDK is also kind of similar in that sense. It consists of auth manager, basically a bunch of different auth methods like ZK mail passkeys, verifiable credentials, etc. And wallet UI helpers for configuration and recovery. And for you to understand general flow, it's basically you have configuration, you open the wallet, like settings, you pick auth methods and guardians, the number of guardians, you define n of m and time locks, and then for recovery, basically you initiate recovery like from guardian's side. They authenticate and approve, and then contracts enforce the policy and rotate the accounts key. So I think I'm going to skip this slide. So we had like two architectural options for on-chain recovery when we're designing this. So first option was to have like a monolithic recovery manager, and another option was to have composable recovery. So what is monolithic recovery manager? It's basically one single smart contract that basically manages all of the logic. And it's the same contract that verifies all guardian proofs, like signature, ZK proof, etc. And the same contracts perform owner and key rotation on the target account. So pros of this model is basically it's very simple. It's one place for all the logic. And cons, it's that it's tightly coupled to specific auth methods. It's not non-scalable. It's hard to add something new. So that's why there is like another option is called composable recovery. And here composable recovery is basically that authentication methods are implemented in guardian-specific contracts, not inside one monolith. And recovery manager is implemented using existing primitives, for example, safe. And base account grants limited recovery privilege to a policy/aggregator. In our case, it's safe contract. So pros here is that it's easier to manage recovery policies, but cons is that there is like additional deploy costs for Guardian accounts. So like approximately design of composable approach is that first step you have to derive deterministic addresses using create2 for Guardians and store the commitments to Guardians data instead of plain text. So basically it's needed for Guardians privacy. Then we create special recovery, special purpose recovery safe, like multi-sig, where Guardians are the signers. And then in the safe, we can configure NOM policy and optionally install a time lock model there. And then we can grant a privilege to the smart account we are trying to set social recovery for. It can be a smart account or like 7702 enabled EOA. And then during recovery, important point here is that when we set the Guardians in the safe, we don't even need to deploy the contracts. We basically calculate the address using create2, and only when recovery happens, we already will be able to deploy smart contracts for Guardians, and then recovery safe will collect approvals, satisfy NOM, and call the smart account to execute the key rotation. Yeah, so that's generally it. A few challenges that I want to talk about here is that there is public key infrastructure challenges for some auth methods, such as zkemail and zkJWT. So the problem here is that zkemail and zkJWT Guardians rely on signatures and public keys from external issuers like mail servers, auth, and JWT providers. On-chain verification needs correct issuer public keys, and there are no trustless way to port Web2 data into Web3. It's basically like an Oracle problem. And some of the auth, like mail providers, they support DNSSEC, but like most of them don't support this. And self-hosted DKIM and JWT registries can silently become outdated as well. So possible solution here is that for now we are sticking to the first solution, is basically self-updated registries with DAO governed registries as a fallback. So it's basically your registry, and in the UI there's like some, like from time to time, it's like let's say one time in each 6 months, wallet pings you to update your self-hosted registry, to update the registry. And if the user is not active, we can just put it in protocol that it will be switched to a DAO governed registry. And another possible solution is ERC 7969, but it's still in draft. It's basically a way that says that there should be like a DKIM registry on Ethereum directly. And another problem is also a cross-chain recovery UX. And problem here is that accounts and assets are spread across multiple chains, and when you do a recovery on one chain, let's say on Ethereum, you recovered your wallet, but then there is like notification. You should do that, the same stuff, the same process through like for all other layer 2s, for example. And that's like very bad UX. And possible solution here is basically, I don't know, like to wait for this RAP to be accepted. It's like RAP 7728. It's L1S load, precompile, and key stores. Yeah, so it's basically, there's going to be like one possible way to do it is there will be like a key store on layer 1, and when the recovery happens, it will be updated in this specific key store, and then all of the layer 2s, they will be able to just read from this storage. That's it. Thank you.
Any questions to Rasul?
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Would we implement this on existing address?
Yeah. Let's say you have a smart account. You can just put it like in your smart account directly. Let's say in safe. But let's say you have just like EOA, you can enable 7702 on this address, and then you can just grant privilege to, like, let's say a safe, specific safe to your account.
Do I need this only on Ethereum or on all?
All EVM, all EVM compatible chains. Yeah. So like for now, as I said, it's cross-chain UX is very bad. Yeah, and you have to enable it like on every chain, configure this. Yeah. But once we have this key stores, it will be like updated automatically. Yep. So.
Maybe some more question until we have next presentation. No? I think Rasul is still around, right?
Yeah. I will be here for, I think, for like, I don't know, for an hour. Yeah. See you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll need a microphone and we'll need,
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we are waiting for our next speaker. Now, let our next speaker to share his experience in this subject. Welcome on the stage, Dmitry Gusakov.
Perfect. Whoa, that was loud. Okay, so Nadia reached out to me 3 hours ago, maybe 4, and she asked, is there a thing that makes you worried, that makes you wake up in the middle of the night about crypto, about Ethereum, or about whatever else? And there is a thing. I believe that Ethereum is progressing slower than it could. So let's find out how you can make Ethereum better. And we start with the obvious thing. You can spread the word about Ethereum. And even though most of you sitting here might be thinking that, come on, everyone knows about Ethereum. Like, that's a basic. That's not true. Like, the absolute majority of people in the world, even those who are aware of crypto, they think about crypto like, oh, it's a Bitcoin and some shit around that. And Ethereum is a totally different thing. So just by telling people what Ethereum is in a few words, just by encouraging people to install maybe even a hot wallet like a Rabi wallet or Empire or Zerion. I was previously telling by installing MetaMask, forget MetaMask, I'm no longer a MetaMask fan. But anyway, so doing this simple thing is already a big step. But as soon as you move further from spreading the word, you can move to teaching people about Ethereum. Because at the end of the day, adoption and users is not the only thing that Ethereum is currently lacking. We are also lacking developers. We are also lacking smart people working deep into Ethereum. So the other good thing that you can do to support Ethereum is you can teach people about Ethereum, about mechanisms, about Solidity programming language, about EVM, about whatever thing you are expert in. So make sure to do that. Moving on to less obvious things. Have you guys know that each and every of you could write an EIP? And, well, maybe some of you know. But still, for those of you who are not aware, EIP is Ethereum Improvement Proposal. It's basically a document that solves a specific problem for Ethereum, and all of the hard forks, which you've probably heard of, are made out of a bunch of EIPs. So a specific problem is picked, a solution is developed, well, not even developed, described, formulated in specifications, and then there is how, this is how Ethereum is moving towards hard forks, moving and becoming better. But you might say, okay, come on, take it easy. We're getting to a very dangerous territory. Writing EIP is a fucking big task. And I agree with you. You need to have a lot of time. You need to have a very deep expertise. So writing EIP might not be the thing for everyone. But have you did you know that you can also champion EIP? And this is a concept that a few people heard of, but this is a very needed thing. So there are many people, many smart people already writing EIPs. But for EIP to make it to the hard fork, to be implemented on Ethereum, a rough consensus between core developers should be reached that this EIP should be included into the fork. And there are a lot of good EIPs for which rough consensus hasn't been reached, not because EIP is bad, not because the problem that is solved within this EIP is irrelevant, but because those behind this EIP were not that vocal about this EIP, and those behind the other EIPs were more vocal, and their voices were heard, and the voices for this EIP, for example, were not. The great example here is, for example, stable container for SSD, which is a great EIP. It's a very simple one. It solves a perfect problem, though for 3 forks already, this EIP was not included, not because it's problematic, not because it's complicated, but because no one had been joining ACD calls, no one had been reaching out each and every day to client teams saying, hey guys, you should consider this EIP. So championing EIP is a good thing if you are not the person to write EIP yourself, but you believe that the problem and the problem is formulated and the solution is formulated in one of the EIPs that are not yet included. You might be the one who will be the champion for this EIP, who will spread the word about this EIP, who will convince core developers that this EIP should be included. Okay, moving up next. And that's again pretty obvious thing. You can develop an open source tool for Ethereum, which might be your side project. And for sure it will be beneficial for Ethereum and Ethereum users. And at the same time, it's not just you who understand that open source tools are great for Ethereum. A lot of projects within the Ethereum ecosystem do value that. So by doing that, you will not just make Ethereum better, but you will also get a decent chance of getting 1 or 2 grants for this thing. So each and every time you face a problem interacting with Ethereum, or you see a challenge interacting with Ethereum, or whatever else, and you feel like, oh, I have enough skills, or I'm pretty good at vibe coding these days, that I can solve this problem with a piece of a software or by creating a tool, well, make sure to make this tool open source, make sure to make it available for others so that they will not have to spend time doing that. And moving up to a final part. To make Ethereum better, you can run Ethereum node. And just node, not just without validators, just a node. And you might ask, well, why? Why would it make Ethereum better? Well, it would make Ethereum better in a few cases. First of all, if you're running a full node, you are storing, you are custodying a copy of Ethereum blockchain at your local machine, or at your virtual machine, or wherever else. So the more nodes are in Ethereum network, even though these are not validating nodes, the more copies of Ethereum are, and the better it is for Ethereum. And the other thing is that whenever you have your local node, you can avoid using this RPC providers who will definitely do some sketchy things with your personal information. So you will be able to access Ethereum, get access to Ethereum network through your own node. So double benefit, both for you and for Ethereum. And finally, you can run Ethereum validators. And this is probably the easiest thing for those of you not technical, not super deeply involved, maybe even without a friend so that you have nowhere to spread a word about Ethereum. But you can still do that. You can run validators at home, making Ethereum more decentralized, like way more decentralized. And as you may ask me, oh, come on, 32 ETH, even at the current discount, that is getting pretty interesting. It is still a lot. And that's why, for example, you can run validators with things like Lido CSM that me and my team are developing in Lido, where you will be able to start with something like 2.4 ETH and get slightly higher APR. So to wrap it up, Ethereum needs you. And make sure that each and every time you wake up, you have free time, ask yourself, have I did something good for Ethereum today? And if not, well, maybe there's a good day to do something good for Ethereum. Thank you.
everyone is ready to make Ethereum better. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Well, we are waiting for our next speakers, and I should check who will be the next. Okay, we are super excited to introduce our next speakers. So it's Peter Karlev from Oxoria
and Tigor from Mycelia.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So guys, I will give a talk to Tigor short. So I just want to say that we built a lot in last 15 days to make a decentralized capital, but looks like we're on the edge, like with something big happening. We're almost cybers, and we need to keep our memory really careful. And now we want to talk and tell what's you can expect from the next few years and preparing something special for this. And I want to speak to Tigor to tell about this.
So I'll be pretty quick. I'm a techno-optimist, and I'm pretty pumped about merging with technology, though I think there are a few drawbacks, and we should be very careful not to fall into some potential problems. And one of those is, when I see Mark Zuckerberg's presentation of smart glasses, I am torn apart by two things. One is, it's really cool tech. I do want to be a cyborg. And B, I don't want Mark Zuckerberg to control my brain. I don't want Mark Zuckerberg to see everything that I see. So what Peter and I did, we just did a market research, what AI wearables can run fully self-hosted without ever leaving our infrastructure. And we found none, so we decided that we personally need this. When we spoke to people in the community, they also told us they also do need this. And so that's what we are building, and we are doing it fully open source. We'll run nodes locally, and I think it mostly benefits people who are like me, forget stuff and want assistance to understand them better. If you might be interested in wearable AI, but main concern for you was privacy, reach out to either of us. We will be happy to help you set it up for you locally, so you just run your hardware and your software, and your AI never leaves your infrastructure. I personally run, in my storage room, I have a small server and GPU, and it just runs stuff, and you can do the same.
Just a little bit more, the research was about these kind of things. I think in the next future, everyone will store the same things that will capture everything that happens with you. So what happens the state of the data privacy now? You can't host your data anywhere because you have to send it to the clouds, what we doing now, and everyone who wear this. So, but the cool thing, when you capture it in your self-hosted servers, you can literally get all the information about your data, all the insights, about what happens with your with you a year ago. You can easily capture this information, and all the insights about your psychology and everything. You're like a cyborg with absolute memory with these things. So that's what actually happens soon, because now there is more than 40 startups like this, and I think it will be nice if we can do this. So Tigor already do this, and it gets a lot of insights about that. So
another good example would be Google Timeline. You probably heard of Google Timeline, where you open a special page in Google and it shows you where you've physically been when you used Google Maps or took photos that are uploaded to Google Photos, and it shows you lots and lots of personal details. And again, I do want to have this data. I do want to share this data with myself. I don't want to share this data with Google. So again, what we are doing is it's an open source self-hosted alternative to Google Timeline, among other things.
So yeah, keep safe and don't share too much data with Google and others, because with the money we solve it. With the memory and our data we have to solve it soon, because otherwise it's getting too late. And then you will get like a second brain, and it will be superpower your life in general. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Questions?
Can you share some light how technically it works? Like this device, how much it costs, and do I need to run your software, and then like I buy a VPS server and put your software there and connect?
You can do, yeah, you can buy a VPS server. I personally prefer you to install it locally at your home, because I think it's cool to brag that all your data is stored at your home. But yeah, you can definitely run a VPS server. There is our website is mycelia.tech, and there is a GitHub repo. You can just download it, do Docker Compose, build, and it will work. So you don't have to run this particular device. It's just convenient. You can use you can use any source of input. You can just use voice memos on your phone. It would work. It doesn't really matter that much. Also, I just wanted to say more like ideological thing about this is you can do this now. You don't need a backend server running to record conversations. And I think conversations that you are having offline with people is something very precious, and our brain forgets a lot. And I don't know, I have audiobooks of best conversations with my friends, and this is something that I cherish, and I wish others save those too, because a lot of people do photos of things they like, but conversations are also very, very nice, and we forget everything very soon. Another question?
Yeah. What do you think is so bad about Google and Meta storing your data? I mean, you're trying to run.
What's so bad about Google? Sorry, didn't.
Yeah, Google and Meta storing your data.
Yeah, okay. So to me personally, I think there is a conflict of interest between what is best for me and what is best for my external brain to do for myself, and what Meta wants me to do. So they want me to consume, they want revenue for themselves, and I want my brain to behave in my interest, and I don't trust them to, in moments when they have to choose between their own incentive of Californian corporation and my incentive. I don't trust them to pick my interest over theirs.
Yeah. I think the worst thing that can happen, because there is infinite possibilities to manipulate the people. Even now, the Google know everything about your behavior and can control what you want to buy. But if they will capture all your memory, and for example, if you send to them, you will be totally in fully control of these organizations, which is I think will be total disaster for our population. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically mind control, and I don't want to give a single corporation as much power. And
data leaks and possible blackmail.
Yeah. Yeah. But to me, it's also about how stable the society is. If everyone runs an independent node, it seems to me much more stable than everything in a huge data center somewhere. So yeah. I also want to add to this that I've been working as political activist for years, and I do not trust governments that much. And I am pretty sure if I'm not kind of person that current flavor of the government likes, I'm pretty sure that all those corporations will be very happy to give all my data to the government. And if I'm running my own node, it stays within the contour of my security. So this is, I think it's not applicable to most people, but still there are people working in sensitive areas, and political activism is definitely one of those.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are waiting for our next speaker. Okay. After being in crypto for so long, this man may not only know how to survive singularity, he may be one himself. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to the legend, Dmitry Starodubtsev.
Hi guys. First, I want to to give a shout to cp0x and Cyber Academy. It's kind of like really cool event today. We become international today. After so many years, we meet to start speaking English, which is super cool. I'm also really happy that so many innovations came out of this community. I would say it's kind of like the key innovations come from the people from the community. So yeah, it's very cool. And like, yeah, I want today to share one more. I want to talk about my plans to build a cyber state. Okay. The idea is rooted into this cypherpunk movement. The idea is not actually very new, but thinking about how to actually shift from pure digital to physical. Like I did have several years to think about that. And yeah, today I want to share my plans and how I actually want to do that. So without further ado, I want to invite you to burn.city. It's a pop-up city, which will happen in Bali. It starts on 17 February and will continue 1 month and will be more like, I can see it as a global alternative to Burning Man, but like ongoing in Burning Man. And I would, I really like the idea to limit it to like 150 people, because I believe it's very important to learn how to build this tribe thing. And like, but before I continue, I want to ask you, like, have you heard about pop-up cities? Like, who of you have heard about pop-up cities? Like, okay, half, yeah? So, for other half, I will try to explain you what is the buzz about pop-up cities, yeah? Well, we have 50 million digital nomads, and they are size of the nation. Average lifestyle budget of digital nomads is something like 5K per month, and actually someone can say that this group of people is the future of humanity, because they are the most well-educated, the most culturally aware, and so on and so on. So it's kind of become progressively like one of the most important audiences in the world. And yeah, we are like, I'm not saying they, but I can say we are the size of the nation. So like the question is how to capitalize on that, how to use this understanding. And we already understand, we already see that there is a product market fit which come from network, school, and edge city. So people paying these like 2-3K per month to live together, to find each other and find their own tribe. So, but like advancement of a Burn city will be in this vertical integration idea. So like pop-up city is a kind of temporary thing. I would compare it with prostitute and wife. Yeah, when you say, when you speak about pop-up city and like permanent city, it's kind of like the same difference. Yeah, so like when you go from this temporary to permanence, you have one serious opportunity, and this is vertical integration. What is vertical integration? It can produce a serious margin to the projects who will build using these ideas. And like, I want to show you my plans on the product I want to offer to the market. It will be $2,000 for shared living space and $3,000 per month of the private living space, which includes here is the food. I think that the presentation like not display, but it will include food, it will include accommodation, and it will include all kind of infrastructure, including gym, event space, co-working, kindergarten, and like more. Okay, so actually I can say that this is a product market fit which I target to. So yeah, and for those who with the previous presentation, yeah, I will like made a radical decision. I watched 10 years how many guys like on events and how not so many girls. And yeah, guys, you must understand that if you want to have girls, you must pay for them. So I can promise that there will be girls there, okay? So why? Because we will provide 50% discount for everything in this city for girls. So if you want to find girls, like smart girls, come to Cyber Valley, Siberia. But what is Cyber Valley? Cyber Valley is a place, yeah? Cyber Valley is a place, it's strategically situated in Bali. In Bali, it's like very like, okay, Bali, why Bali? Bali is the dream, according to all research, to digital nomads. It's like the most desired location to be, like at least go. So the place I'm talking about is strategically chosen to be a heart of mountain tourism in Indonesia, not only in Bali but in the whole macro region. It is like have advantage that it have proximity from key locations such as both oceans, the new airport. It is situated in the center of the like geographically in the center of the island, and like the big important property of this location is that it have huge land upside still, like in comparison to Nuano and Ubud cities. Something like 10-15x upside still there. So like it's not only the place to be, it's the place to earn, obviously. So Cyber Valley is autonomous city with superintelligence. And it is doomed to exponential city growth. I like always try to ask the question, how to make it grow exponentially. I spent 3 years before to like tap into like all the processes needed, starting from like food production to construction, and I came to very simple understanding that actually if you are able to rent for digital nomad this house and provide the food and the basic infrastructure for 20K, and you can construct in 2 weeks, it's actually can provide this kind of exponential growth. One important feature that we will have is this live to earn thing. What does it mean? It means that after like you are living in the village for like 3, 4, 5 years, you basically start to earn the share in this city. And after some point, I'm still not finalized the model, but at some point in time, you will able to actually possess the ownership of the house you are living in. So it's kind of like the mortgage, but on steroids. And like if we were able to like grow one city exponentially, we certainly can build a network of such cities. Yes, so we are seriously thinking on how to build franchise for expanding. Right now, I'm traveling in here in South America to choose some spots in Patagonia. I believe it's very strategic location. And yeah, 3 things, 3 principles we need to follow to actually build this Siberia as a network of future cities. First, like the funds, it's like must be kind of supranationally controlled. It's simple stuff, DAO or multi-signature scheme. But yeah, second one, I think that the local legal compliance is the key. So we will not currently speaking about some kind of like revolution, yeah? So it's more like economical revolution than any other revolution. It's full legal compliance until at least we will grow to some like notable size when we can trade with governments the terms of like our existence. And the third is very important thing, but when we build like 2, 3, 5, 10 cities, by providing this freedom to move between them using this shared equity, actually that is what makes this Siberia actually a cyber state. Yeah. So basically, this cyber states start to work as Hydra. It's like you cut one head, like we destroy, you're playing basically with civilization. Yeah, we destroy one city, you have like 5 more. You build another one. So like and so on and so on. So like that is how I want to make it like really resilient against state level adversaries. Okay. Cyber Valley is sorry. The cost of establishing a city is like lower than you think. This is investment thesis I will try to like spread to the world. So remote land is extremely cheap, guys. $1,000 of remote land can buy a 1 hectare of land for a family. That is enough to sustain any family with food, with energy, with water. Solar, Starlink, and blockchain, they are enablers that allow in any country to buy this land and build the cities there. So here I'm talking that if you're like able to gather only 50 families and invest $1 million in this kind of a village, I check it myself, it's doable. You can bootstrap it in 9 months and have a city and grow from $1 million to $10 million just because you provide this like touristic flow and event space to grow and capitalize on this thing. So, and like I think it can become really big. How big? So like the idea is that if you will take only 10% market share from these digital nomads guys, which is something around 5 million citizens, the size of 1 megapolis, yeah? But in our case, it could be something like 100 cities at like 50,000 people each. You can have Google scale revenue, which is reachable in like 1 decade maximum. So the like even if not being like state level size, like just megapolis level size, like if it's possible to build the process to scale it horizontally and vertically, it is the power, guys. I think it's really important to also bring in financial innovation. For some of you, you know that I created one of the first funds, crypto funds in history. Here will be another big thing. I believe these funds, open-end funds with land assets under management can become like one of the very important point of growth of the industry. So I'm announcing here a first open-end cyber state fund. It's a token on Ethereum. The Marshall Island company in the head, and local companies owned by these Marshall Island companies. Basically, the terms of this open-end fund I will announce a bit later. Yeah, but it will start from I will start it from pretty serious asset under management. I'm talking right now about $30 million of asset under management just from the start. So it, like, after launch, it will become the biggest cyber state fund in industry. One important feature of the fund is that it's my thesis that actually any cyber state at some point of development will want to aggregate the collective intelligence of its citizens to become more powerful and smarter. And vice versa, if you're trying to build the super intelligence, the collective intelligence thing, once it's realized its intelligence, it starts to become a cyber state. Yeah, so those are two convergent things. And I did have some questions what you will do with previous work. I will incorporate all my developments into this Siberia cyber state. Okay, so I'm talking here about the state with experimental support of collective intelligence, and I was recently able to find out some really interesting property which allow for a really powerful distributed computation of the on-chain LLMs. And yeah, I will incorporate this this thing into this cyber state. Please, so those of you who are interested in this beginning, this is a Telegram group where we invite everyone to join this movement and try out and see what happens. Yeah, and please come to Bali at 7th of February. We will announce and provide a link for tickets soon. Yeah, and yeah, thanks for listening to me. Would love to answer the questions. Yeah. It must not have empire. It must not be empire. Yeah. I showed the slide. This is actually. I thought about it, but the answer is this open-end fund. What is open-end fund? Is that basically if I have, if some investor want to add some money to the pile, it's actually the extra token minted. So if some big investors are coming, actually it will slowly start to dilute my initial stake. Yeah, I hope that is how it can be decentralized.
Control level 2.
Yeah. That is the token that will have a control of this whole thing. Yeah, so basically if some investors come and want to invest $10-20 million, it's fine. So I'm immediately lose part of the control, half of a control. Yeah.
In your similar question, in your decision making, what is the role for anonymity of decision makers? Can decision be made anonymously?
Oh, that's a good question. I didn't actually embed. No. Well, I'm cypherpunk myself, okay? And like I will use any possible tools to provide layer of privacy to all.
We're compatible with Ethereum too.
Who are you?
Devote.
Who?
Devote.
Devote. Never heard of it.
I'll talk about it later. But basically, this is something we can contribute.
Yeah, okay. I will tap into it. For sure, it is important. The anonymity of decision making. Like, I didn't actually provide information here, but I'm not actually like deep believer in that conventional discrete decision making. I gave a lecture during HCT where I try to explain that these ideas of the discrete decision making is actually doesn't scale and very inefficient. I am trying to think how to create the governance system that will just aggregate all the all the signals from the community and infer automatic decisions. So yeah.
Let's stop.
Any other questions? Last chance? No, actually not the last chance. Dima is here. He lives around, and yeah, I think you can. Thank you
so much. Don't confuse with Siberian Russia.
Точно, да. Чуть не проебал.
Our next speaker, we want to introduce. You'd better check out the 7 systems of linear equation by LTV. Meet our next speaker, Andrei Sobol.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah. So this is the clicker, right? Oh, perfect. It's hard to talk after so legendary guy, Dima Starodubtsev. Yeah, let me introduce LTV protocol to you, the creatorless leverage tokenized vaults. What is LTV protocol? It's a DeFi protocol which using LTV protocol you can tokenize the collective position on the lending protocol, collective leverage position on the lending protocol, and how it will work. Imagine this scenario where anyone can deploy of any pairs of token on top of any leverage source. Anyone can deploy the tokenized leverage position. Sounds like a magic, right? Because right now you need to have a curator to make this work, and usually the curators, they have a limited capacity. You cannot just arbitrarily go to the curator and ask, please make this vault. You need to have a communication, and you cannot do it in one button like it's done in Uniswap. And we propose this solution, but how we can propose this solution? It's a magic, it's technologia, technologia. So we write our paper, which is called Curatorless Leverage Tokenized Vaults, and it's 58 pages of math. Right now it's unfoxed, but anyway, you can just go to our website, ltv.finance, and you can find it. And I briefly explain some ideas from this paper. So, yeah, look at this ultimate equation. In Uniswap, they have constant product formula. In our case, we start thinking about leverage as our target LTV formula. So idea is behind. So when you put some borrow token to the vault or collateral token to the vault, we need to make some decisions on the smart contract level to rebalance vaults themselves, to put some incentives to rebalance vaults. We use auctions for this, and as a result, we got double interconnected EIP-4-6 vaults, with one with the collateral token, another one with the borrow token. It's just 2 interfaces in one vault. So you can have all of this EIP-4-6 function. Actually, they execute one and actually preview and max But for collateral, you have preview deposit collateral and deposit collateral, mint collateral, withdraw collateral. It's twice EA462.6 compatible. It's actually the standard that's more for use, a lot of other DeFi protocol use. And achieving it, we use auction. So the idea is when you deposit the borrow token or collateral token, we open auction to increase LTV or decrease LTV. We have a range between min profit LTV and max safe LTV, and the idea is that whatever you do with the vault, it always go to the target through these incentives. So here the example of how our price changed in the case of scenario where we have some open auction to positive one or negative one for selling collateral to the borrow token or borrow token to the collateral token. Yeah. So here you can see that if you are doing something that put to the vault in a better condition, you will be incentivized. Your price of token will be a little bit higher. If you are put vault into the position where you are moved out of the target, you will be a little bit de-incentivized and you will pay some fee for the open new auction. This is a general idea. Yeah, and actually this slide, it explains how you can interact with our protocol. There is a native communication like EA462.6 functions. It's where you can call deposit withdrawal. It's simple, but it's cost inefficient, but it's capital efficient. What does it mean? That means that you have some money that you want to deposit, and you will deposit exactly this amount of money, but you will pay some additional fee in the case of that vault in right now a non-friendly position for you. We have a low-level rebalancing tool. The idea is that you are communicating with our vault with the three tokens, the vault token, the borrow token, and collateral token. It's complex because you need to understand the all possible way how vault can behave. You need to have some mental model of how our protocol works. It's not just simple like deposit and withdrawal. It's complex, it's cost efficient, and it's capital inefficient. Another way how you can communicate with our vault, you can use flash loan and native interaction. So the idea, when I say native interaction, what does it mean? And imagine that you have vault that it's like Lido over Ethereum, and in Lido there is a function that you can call and exchange the Ethereum into the rapid staked ETH into the Lido, and there is no it will be run like in an atomic way. So the idea is that you can put it inside flash loan, and you can convert as many ETH as you need for the vault, for the low level rebalance, and you can put it back. So yeah, this is, by the way, one of the ways that that Buko mentioned in his speech. So yeah, and there is another way how you can interact, but it's a good way for interacting. It's simple, cost efficient, capital efficient, but your token should support this way. For example, in Lido there is a native deposit, but there is no atomic native withdrawal. You need to wait some time. That means that you cannot put it inside flash loan. Another way of interacting is flash loan plus DEX swap. It's simple. It's cost inefficient because you need to pay some extra money for the slippage, blah blah blah. The price cannot be so good to you, but it's capital efficient. So this is the way how you can interact with our vault for making deposit and withdrawal, etc., etc., etc. And right now I will just flex our crazy shaitan machine. This is all of our, okay, I cannot. Oh yeah, this one.
This is all contracts that we deploy to the mainnet, but it's not like full list. We have another 7 libs and 4 additional helpers. I do not expect that you will just go to all of this address and check what's going on inside every contract, but this is actually answer to the question why nobody invented before, because like this level of complexity, you know. And we deployed to the mainnet. Before it, of course, it was audited. The Auxorio team, it's brilliant guys, they provide audit to us. And yeah, right now we are on mainnet. We 7 days on mainnet. We have 1 million of deposited TVL. We have more than 10 million of leveraged TVL. And we have this like, every day in the mainnet right now it's profitable. There is no non-profitable days on this strategy. This is Lido over Ethereum on Aave v3. And you can look at this good APY. It's just 8% over Ethereum. I think it's good. It's good. Yeah. And this is a little bit of our internal stuff. This is our internal Grafana. And you can see the token price always grows. And this lines is just changing Lido Oracle every day on the Aave. So you can see that every new day starts from better position, and after that you change the Oracle, and after that the token price decrease, and after that it's going up. This one's the same picture, but by the way, you can use it if you are a musician, you can use these things in a synthesizer, because like this is a wave, very good wave. It will sound great, believe me. And yeah. Launch stages. Right now we have 7 days on the mainnet. Right now the phase number 1 is already done. We did it with the private, our test initial liquidity. Right now we have private LPs. After that we give access to our protocol, to our community, 42 NFT holders. And after that it will be totally public, permissionless, non-whitelist public launch. We just go smoothly to test everything, to understand what's going on, to fix something if something do not going well. But for now, from the contract side, it's unexpectedly perfect, you know. Yeah, this is our 42 NFT that a lot of people can mint, because we whitelist for this NFT a lot of addresses right now. So if you are an active DeFi user, you can be eligible to mint this NFT and be our beta tester and get some additional point boost, 42% additional point boost, because of course we will have a points, and you will have a boost. And we did the market opportunity research to understand what the possible vaults we can deploy next in the mainnet, and eventually achieve the totally permissionless protocol where anyone can deploy a vault. So we did market research. Right now we know like all of these platforms that this is our priorities. It means that like in Ethereum we will have a big amount of vaults and Base a little bit less. And this is the liquidity that we can get on every vault. And here's the total liquidity, more than 10 billion of TVL, and more than 100 vaults that you can deploy right now. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much. Do you have any questions? Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Is 42 a reference to hitchhikers?
Of course. Yeah, of course. We are big fans, you know.
So, thank you very much. It was
Thank
very
you.
interesting, and we are glad you on our stage.
Yeah, we'll give you.
Yes, sir.
Where is it? Oh, this one.
Okay, we are excited to introduce our next speaker. It will be Fedor here to resolve, okay? Our ranks are thinning, but we are not stopping. Okay, thank you for your patience. Let's go.
One, two, three. Can you hear me well?
Do we have a clicker? Where's our clicker? You can.
How to? Okay, yeah, I see. Okay, so can I start? Right?
Yeah, sure.
Hey everyone. Today I would like to probably talk a little bit about financial layer for stable returns and how we are making it at Resolve. Probably before that, it's worth to quickly introduce myself. I'm one of the founders of Resolve, CTO. Previously, spent many years in different financial services, including traditional one and crypto one. And if to probably address the point, and I will explain it deeper and deeper with every slide. So crypto obviously a very attractive source for different returns, and here just some indicative numbers, probably a bit outdated. 20 billion market is staying untapped. If you would like to probably I don't know, invest into different crypto opportunities, and that 20 billion is just indicative of open futures market interest on major crypto assets such as BTC, Ether, and maybe Solana, if I'm not mistaken. So basically, such yields might be coming from different sources, especially if you're talking about stable coins, which is a popular trend nowadays. It can be different types. It can be RBA-based stable coins, it can be CDPs, it can be algorithmic stable coins, and the more complicated logic becoming here, or the more comprehensive strategies you're using, the more risk you are taking usually. What we are doing basically. From one perspective, you can concentrate on only one, let's say, yield source, or on one, I don't know, strategy, something like that. But in that case, you are being exposed to, I don't know, any issues associated with that. I don't know, counterparty's risk, or it's not performing well from any perspective. I don't know, any black swan event happened, whatever. Everyone probably remember what happened around a month ago, so it's clearly shows that some, at least, products have similar issues. So what we are doing, we are essentially making architecture which allows to enable attach different yield sources, segregate risk into different products essentially. One of the key one in our example, but it can be, I don't know, scaled to other types of the products is exactly stablecoin, and another one is more risky product, which is absorbing all potential risk might be happening, is a separate kind of insurance layer. And what it can give you is to, first of all, you have two products. Of course, it's more difficult to sell, for example. And at the same time, you can make multiple products which will be covered by insurance layer. Probably to simplify it a little bit, imagine like regular insurance layer, like many products have, like I don't know, Athena, for example, it's a company which is operating in our space, but it usually just a separate insurance which like teams supposed to fundraise for, like take different like fees, for example, and like grow over the time. At the same time, you can like build it in the way that it is taking part of the yield from the main product, it is attached to it, and the thinner the layer, the higher the yield for that risky layer, like because like proportion is smaller. And opposite, the more demand for that risk, like junior tranche, how we call it, the like less interested it is to the people, and probably the reason to navigate towards like less risky product. So how we are making it, and it's probably worth to get back to share a couple of challenges here. Historically, when we started, we essentially basically made the logic straight away. We started delta neutral strategy on Ethereum and with Bitcoin, like hedging all of that with perpetual futures, and like later on just started some lending markets for the periods of time when funding rates, for example, negative. What kind of challenges later on we like found out? First of all, like lending markets which we like started to use from the beginning might be not enough because like liquidity evolving, like we might need different types of the assets. Like again, funding rates might be bad, like different venues like might be not suitable for us, and we need to diversify. So, but at the same time, like evolving the product and writing kind of new smart contracts, new infrastructure for half a year and like waiting for that is like not really a great solution in terms of like how quickly we can evolve the project. And as a result, we came up to the internal architecture where each of such blocks are isolated. It allows to have specific policies for like either internal team or external, I don't know, risk curators or something like that. What kind of strategies, what kind of assets, what kind of venues you can use, and basically like just build one of such yield sources which can be attached under the hood to that layer. So from theory to practice. We launched all of that already 1.5 years ago. Since then, like already got a decent initial traction. Right now it is 300 million TVL with 600 million all-time high, and like a bunch of active users, it meant here. Paid out more than 30 million in real yield, like using all of that. Haven't faced any like meaningful, at least direct economical impacts from all the recent events, and not only recent events. So in practice, seems like it is working. Let's put it that way. Probably one of the last one, how we are going to evolve all of that, or how it might be like fitting to the more broad infrastructure and ecosystem, and how it can benefit. If you remember, I described you briefly that we are using delta neutral strategies. On practice, it means that we are using like some long position in our specific case around Ethereum and BTC, and we are using like some like short or perpetual futures position. Long positions, of course, we can stake, and we are doing that. So, which means that we are like actually using validators network, which usually like depends, of course, on specific validations, providing services to like bigger customers who might be like not willing to like contribute directly in Ether or Bitcoin to validator network, but at the same time they usually have some, I don't know, stable capital which they would like to like still keep as stable, and they would like to potentially have some yield on top of that. So how it might work, like guys using us as yield-bearing stablecoin or yield-bearing, I don't know, other type of the assets, We are under the hood, like utilizing staking providers, essentially increasing like their staking value with added like staked versions of ETH, for example, here. Probably that's it mostly. I try to be short, so if any questions, please. Yes.
For example, what if I take my money and go to you to resolve, and you expand it to the several strategies?
Yes.
And if one of the strategy will be with X USD, that's its depends.
Well, let's imagine.
What I receive back? All of my money or part of it?
It depends. Probably let me quickly get back. That slide. On practice, we have two products, like stablecoin and like what is smart key investment products, but probably not correct one, like insurance layer, let's put it that way. And both of them are tokenized. Depends what kind of layer you are talking about. If you're a stablecoin user, you're supposed to be safe. Even like black swan kind of event happening, imagine new FTX case or something like that, or like, I don't know, any recent events. Like you're supposed to be safe because insurance layers guys will be like taking risk for them and for stablecoin guys. If it answers your question. If you decide that you are more risk hungry for higher yield and you are a user of investment like insurance layer, you will like get lost.
And how you balance this?
The logic under the hood is the following, like, it doesn't matter for us what you chose as a customer, like stablecoin layer or like insurance layer, everything coming to the same pool. We are like hedging it, like earning on top of that. We are fixing like yield every day, like roughly, but again, it's just adjustable. And distributing it approximately in the following way, like 60% coming to the stable coins, like as a yield, the rest coming to the insurance layer, regardless of their proportion. So the logic is the thinner the layer, the higher the yield for insurance layer, and the more motivation for you to come in. And opposite, if it's too thick, we don't really need the thick insurance layer, so the yield becoming comparable to the stable coin. And you will have like reasonable question why I have to stay in more risky asset for the same yield, right?
Okay, thanks.
Anyone else?
Thank you very much. It was
Thank you.
wonderful. Yes. And thank you so much for taking part in our event. Okay, and we are ready to introduce our next speaker. Oh.
Yeah, but don't have the speaker. Yeah, he'll be instead of Nick.
Okay.
Presenting Barker, right? His name is Sasha.
Telegram?
That goes in your pocket, I guess.
Okay, okay.
That's the best
So
option.
We should wait some time.
Can we spell it? Internet is pretty weak here, I guess. Can I speak without microphone? I mean, I don't need to.
No, you don't need it. You can start presenting yourself if you want, and then as soon as
Okay,
it's
okay. Hi everyone. Yeah, good. I can start now.
I'm Alex. I'm researcher and analyst at Barter. Barter is the largest solver on CowSwap. We also, consistently ranking among top 3 to 4 DEX routers on Ethereum by volume. We did roughly 5 billion of volume over the last month. And now we are presenting our very new product called Superposition. So Superposition is a liquidity-focused product which allows you essentially, which in a sense, turn any wallet into kind of market maker. So let me start. Great. Oh, this is okay. I can work with it. So stablecoins seen massive adoption over the last few years. We have now over 300 billion of stablecoins in supply. We have more than 400 billion in stable volume on EVM chains. But still, the vast majority of stablecoins are just lying passively in user wallets, in CEXs, and there is 49 more liquidity, just idle lying in wallets rather than, any liquidity in DEXs. And it's a huge constraint and actually, a huge opportunity to unlock all of this liquidity. And yeah, there's another question, Yep, great. The another question we should ask is why NLPs, depositing their stables into any vaults, any pools, they're looking for yield. And the bitter truth here is if I, for example, holding some USDC or maybe USDT or some other stables, I can just, passively earn yield in any stables that I trust. I have to deposit it somewhere and basically now start earning yield in some pool or maybe in some yield bearing wrapper or another asset. I can earn yield directly in USDC lying in my wallet. And Barter Superposition is basically fix this problem. With Superposition, you can hold any stable coins that you trust and just, earning yield directly with these stables directly in your wallet. Yeah, so we introduced this concept. With Barter, you can just approve as all stables that you wanted to provide, that you trust, you want to earn yield with, and yeah, that's all. It's basically like an intent for liquidity provision. You don't need to select any custom complex parameters for liquidity provision. Looking for dozens of protocols. Yeah, seeking for good yield. You just can approve as tokens, select us as a pricing source, and that's all. What will we do with these tables? As a router, we receive a major order flow from different order flow sources. You can see, we receive a huge order flow from CowSwap, here's the largest solver here, from MatchMix, from MatchMeta aggregator, from some others intent-based DEX, Uniswap-X, BibGem, some others, and we can basically, now we settle all of this order flow using some traditional AMMs, proprietary liquidity, some other stuff. We can just redirect all of this flow to user wallets, empowering yield directly in wallet. So yeah, here's an example. So the user just approve us USDC and USDT, and we use this wallet as a analog of DEX liquidity, redirecting some order flow directly to his wallet. And with each swap, you earn some trading fee. So let's say you're holding 10K USDT, and you don't really care, are we holding USDT, USDC? You just don't really care about symbol, before USD or after USD. It's for you. It's all the stables is basically USD for you, until you trust them. And yeah, you can just approach two stables, and we'll settle swaps, user your liquidity. And as you can see, numbers are constantly growing, but only the proportion between stables can vary within your wallet. So yeah, here's an example. You're earning 0.5 to 1 BP on each swap. It's pretty competitive fees. Uniswap before provides the same one. Yeah, you can also expand this concept behind stablecoins. You can provide basically any packed pairs such as RAPBTCs, such as some Ethereum wrappers, maybe some tokenized assets such as gold. Yeah, and even more coming on chain. For example, we already have some we already have different issues of tokenized stocks. For example, on the issues NVIDIA on, and X stocks issue, as far as I remember, X NVIDIA or NVIDIA X. You can also create some patched positions between these assets. Yeah, and we basically turn your wallet into market maker. And why? I mean, why you really should care about it? We can take a look, on Solana example. Now, roughly 50% of all Solana DEX volume, is executed by proprietary market makers. They see enormous hype over the past months, and the key here, is calculating prices off chain is much more efficient than calculating on chain. So yeah. And all of this value, is basically extracted by professional market makers. In superposition, we can, bring this value bring back to the end users, not to professional market makers. In Ethereum, we can see the very same trend. Intent DEXs now providing much more, tighter quotes, better execution rather than traditional DEX aggregators. And you can see that, on intent DEXs, there are enormous share of private liquidity. This liquidity, this is basically market makers' liquidity. Superposition, we can redirect all of this flow back to users. Yeah. Here's a bit of delay. Can I? Now it works. So yeah, we are starting from our own superposition front end. It's basically a app where you can just select some stables you want to provide. You want to opt in superposition, select as pricing provider, and that's all. You just need to provide us token approval. We also has a vision that this can be yield option provided by default by any wallets. For example, let's say that you're just holding USDT and don't do anything with them, and then your wallet just send you a notification, hey, you're holding, you're just holding USDT and it's lying in your wallet. Why you don't just create a superposition with these stables? You will these tokens still be fully accessible in your wallet. There's no lookup periods. They're fully transferable, and you can just earn some yield on top of that. Yeah. By doing this, we're also creating some flywheel actually. Because the more exclusive liquidity we will have, the more order flow we can acquire, and eventually this will be returning in higher APIs for the end user, for liquidity providers. Yeah, that's pretty it. So we believe this can be default option for any wallet. Yeah. Thank you for your attention.
This product is already launched?
Yep, it was launched internally. We already have some private beta version, which is accessible by invite codes. If you're interested, you can contact us, maybe on Twitter, on Telegram groups, yeah, and we can just provide you an invite code, and you can try this by your own. So this is already live.
If I need to trust all the USDT or USDC in my wallet, or I can
No, you can set the limits per each table.
And
Yeah.
limits, all time limits, no?
What do you mean?
Do I need to trust forever, or I?
Oh, you can also set time limits. Yeah. I mean, we can also envision some use cases. For example, let's say you're holding USDT and you just go to sleep, and you don't care what's happening with your stables for the next 8 hours. You can just set the limit for the next 8 hours, and yeah, we'll use this liquidity by when you sleep.
Are you exploring some other strategy? Because what I heard is back to one strategy where other people want to exchange exactly these coins, and they use users' liquidity to meet this order flow. And potentially there can be more strategies using the same pattern. Can you expand more on that?
So you mean volatile pairs?
For example.
Yep, it can be expanded into some volatile pairs, for example USDC to Ethereum, but we see the perfect fit actually with stables. So at the launch, only stable to stable, no, only packed pairs will be available, but yeah, probably we'll add some volatile pairs.
Is that, let's say I'm a little bit more sophisticated user and I have some portfolio requirements. For example, I want to keep like at least 30% in stables and other
I see.
I want exposure to BTC and ETH.
I see. I mean, if you have some predetermined ratio between assets, yeah, you can build some kind of index within that. Yeah.
What about security? Approving tokens,
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, token approved by itself, it's not something very unsafe, because many protocols are using it. For example, when you're swapping on CowSwap, you're basically grant unlimited approval to CowSwap contract. So the main question is what contract can do with these approvals. So superposition contract is immutable. I think it's a pretty big advantage. Yep, we calculate price of chain, but by doing this, we can actually provide you much better pricing, generate you much more higher APY. I mean, you can't really assess. I mean, by calculating off-chain prices will be eventually better than prices that calculate on chain, because when you calculate price of chain off-chain, you can use some external information, for example, Binance price, which is actively used by market makers, and you can't achieve this on chain. I mean, yeah, that's the reason why we did it a bit trusted. But eventually, it can be fully decentralized. I mean, we can wrap into some kind of ZK or maybe TEs. Yeah.
Do I understand well that eventually, for example, I approved all my USDT, and I can woke up tomorrow morning and end up with DAI on my balance? Right?
Yeah, that's it. But you can select your own, stable basket.
Any other questions? Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your attention.
Yeah, thank you. We have a last talk, I believe, but we're also gonna have a one-slide pitch session that we planned, but I have no idea how to gather all of these people who send me those slides. I see at least two, right? You gonna present? No? You wanna present? No.
Okay. We are super excited to introduce our next speaker. Our next speaker is to remind you of something the greatest crypto native, Miss Britney Spears, was trying to tell us since 2004. You don't need permission. Make your own decision. It's your prerogative. Welcome on stage the modest and nice outside and a true rebel inside, our beloved Igor, the developer of permissionless interfaces.
Так, как эта штука работает?
Туда-сюда. Ну, вот коннектор здесь.
Ага. Направо это туда, налево сюда, да?
Можешь еще вот так,
Сюда, ага.
показывать.
Ага, понятно. Окей. Так.
Let's give a round of applause again.
Hello, I'm Igor, and at the cp0x I'm responsible for permissionless interfaces. Today, let's discuss something many of you maybe faced, restriction in blockchain protocols front ends. Many protocols restrict users in their official front ends based on location, IP address, or even wallet address. And what's interesting that sometimes this restriction appears quietly. So one day it works, and another day you see something like access not available in your region. And the truth is this restriction mostly impacts users who don't know how to interact with smart contracts directly. So people who rely on front ends, the majority of users. and the ones who are affected the most. Those who really need access to smart contracts, of course, always find a way to find an alternative way. So, ironically, the people who get blocked are not the bad actors, but regular, everyday crypto users. So, and these protocols, like some of these protocols that have restriction, and we know many others. So, usually, none of these protocols block users at the blockchain level because it's either just technically impossible or too expensive if they do it. And at cp0x, we believe that every user deserves unrestricted access to the blockchain and all the opportunities it provides. And we are strongly against limiting users' rights at all. And that's why we create permissionless interfaces. And our goal here is pretty simple. Make DeFi permissionless again. So, to be honest, at least it's front ends, and I'm not sure it ever was fully permissionless before, but anyway, we want to give users easy unrestricted access to blockchain tools and protocols. And today our platforms supports 8 protocols. And whenever possible, we use open source code version of this interfaces, so users don't need to learn new front end. But many protocols don't open source and don't publish their interface at all, so they're not open source, and we need to implement them from scratch. We have already adapted some interfaces and built entirely from scratch Sky and Morpho. Yes, and our roadmap includes roughly 10 more high-demand interfaces. Unfortunately, building these interfaces takes more time than we would like, and there are a few reasons for that. The basic idea of interface is simple: let user interact with smart contracts. And technically, sending transaction is, of course, a straightforward process. But users need more than button that signs transaction. They need context, where to send it, what's safe, what's profitable, what's optimal, and they have a lot of other questions. And for that, we need some analytics like APY, total value looked, number of holders, takers, and a lot of more information. Even something as basic as listing all pools or markets on front end becomes sometimes tricky. Getting this data fully on chain is very slow or even hard sometimes. Most smart contracts simply don't store it, and so in ideal case, we need to pull it from Ethereum blocks. But it means hundreds of RPC calls to load just one page. Tools like the Graph and Dune, for example, help, but indexing sometimes slow, and it's not truly Web3 approach, for example, sometimes, and data isn't always fresh. And in addition, many protocols store detailed analytics in their private subgraphs or their own databases. So we have to be sometimes creative and improvise. We show only data that we can reliably fetch, and sometimes use proxy requests to some APIs to keep things fast. And that's how we keep our interfaces quick and responsive. Yes. In the long term, we want to eliminate these trade-offs and make our interface fully on-chain while keeping the same performance. And what about next plans? First of all, continue delivering high-demand interfaces and keep improving the user experience. And we are going to make the interfaces truly Web3. It means fetching all data directly from blockchain and eventually eliminating how to external API calls. Another one of our priorities is deploying interface through IPFS and Tor network. And we already beginning to experiment with Tor and deployed both like Tornado cache and Sky interfaces. Yes, and in the nearest future we make notice about it maybe. Additionally, everything we built is open source, and we believe that users should have the option to run the interface however they want. So we maintain GitHub repositories and Docker images, allowing anyone to run our interfaces locally if desired. And here you can see links. And I hope this gives you a clear picture of what we are building and why it matters. Thank you.
Do you have any question?
Yeah, I have a small question. You mentioned pulling data directly from blockchain, but for example, sometimes like for historical device, different statistics, we need to still have like some indexing solution. So do I understand well that you're sort of like on-chain maxing, or are you building indexes?
Now it's like we use compromise, so we load from the graph and from proxy, but we are going to solve how to this. I don't know really how yet, but for example, it, not maybe indexers, but on-chain indexers. So some bots that publish data to some cheap blockchain, like or layer 2 blockchain, and take data from that. Maybe this is one of solutions, because as we use the graph, it's always not fresh data, so I don't like it.
Are UA interfaces permissionless interfaces are meant for DeFi only, or they can be used in other types of applications like governance?
Now in roadmap we have, as I know, only DeFi, because our community concentrates around DeFi mostly. So, and I don't remember even request for other application. So we have a lot of work with further. So if we have requests, so maybe we will implement.
Yeah, I'll give you my card. There's a possibility. Please reach out. We'll talk about governance.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much. It was very wonderful presentation. I need to check if we will be. I need to check if we have another speaker.
All right. Thanks, Igor. Thanks to our last speaker. Let me just pull up the. There should be fancy picture. Where is our fancy picture? This one. All right. I think that was all for the talks, and thanks everyone for watching live. I don't know how many people actually been watching this. A lot. Yeah, hopefully a lot. You're gonna expect like separated talks, I think, in our channels and cp0x as well. Yeah, hope you like it. Hope the quality was good. Hope the connection was good too. Thanks for watching us, and we are closing the stream actually, because the next session is, we don't know what's going to be there. Okay, so it's just for the speakers. Oh, sorry, for the participants here. Yeah. Yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and thank you too for coming. We continue with the party. I don't know if you hear the noise there. Yeah, thanks and bye. Bye.